Hello, friends. Welcome to Coding Garden with CJ. Welcome to me continuing the search for happiness. I streamed yesterday, and we built a thing. We mainly just worked on the back end. Hey, Julie, thank you for that resub. 10 months. That's awesome. Hello. Thanks for being here. Yeah. Let me show you what we did. Welcome. Okay. First of all, there is a GitHub repo, github.com/codinggarden/happiness-is. And we're basically building a site that detects messages in Twitch chat that begin with happiness is. So happiness is feeling awesome, feeling good. You're happy when you feel good. And thank you, Akka, for that reminder that everything's going to be okay. Yes. So, yeah, we listen to Twitch chat. Any message that comes across that says that, we put it in a database, and that's what we worked on yesterday. So, we have a whole API going. It's an Express app. We're not really using any of the Express app stuff right now, but we'll work on that today. And Lou, thank you for that 8-month resub. Happiness is first try. But yeah, we have a Twitch chat listener that's basically putting stuff in the database. We're actually using a SQL database, which is interesting. If you look at our migrations, we have a good old connects table definition here, and we've got some queries where we're inserting into the database, and that's pretty much what we did. It's running in a Docker container. Happiness is undefined. It actually is listening right now. So right now it's running locally on my machine, and you can see that when people send happiness is messages, they're showing up in the database. So happiness is when CJ starts streaming. Happiness is undefined. Happiness is not having to work on phone support anymore. Happiness is cold water on a summer morning. That's a good feeling. Happiness is happinesses. Happiness is not exist. Happiness is feeling awesome. Happiness is purpose. Do I have purpose? Do you have purpose? I think I have purpose. My purpose is to stream. My purpose is to entertain you people. At least that's one of my purposes. Okay, but that's what we're building, and we're going to work on the front end today. So we got it all in a database. We're now going to build a website that people can go to where they can see all of these happinesses quotes. We can brainstorm on how we're going to present that. I think the way we're going to do it is we're going to have clouds. Happiness is clean bed sheets. I cannot agree more. I actually washed my sheets, and yeah, I wash my sheets every so often, but recently I washed them, and it feels good to sleep on some really nice, crisp, clean sheets. Yeah, we have a case-insensitive regex. Happiness is define happiness. There we go. There's a thing. But what's up, Lakshman? I saw your message. I hope you find happiness. Oh, I found a lot of happiness. We're just trying to find it in Twitch chat. No worries. And good luck on that data structures exam, Lakshman. I'm glad to see you here. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna build a website. I think it'll be just like a sky, and there'll be clouds, and the clouds will just be floating by, and each cloud will have a happiness is quote on it. Every so often, stop it, Roger. That's about my bed sheets, but regardless, like something like that, or what else did I think of? I mentioned an idea yesterday. Actually, we could also do. Oh yeah, it's nice that you watched it, Lou. Yeah, I like the movie. It's pretty good. Like I said, it's a little cliche, but it's a feel-good movie. It's got good acting. Happiness is a high midichlorian count. Happiness is a word. This is true. Okay. Oh yeah, we could do like a inspirational poster style where we find like really interesting images of maybe like nature, and then we have like a really cool font, and it just says happiness is whatever, like in the middle, and they can fade in and go between them. Oh no, the other idea I had was let me write these down because we can vote on which one we'll actually do. Let's close this. Where are we? Yeah, we had lots of SQL injection attempts yesterday, but I'll show you. Well, I'll show you in a second because I need to create. I'm gonna go ahead and make a client directory, just so. Well, no, I'm not. Never mind. We're just gonna put the ideas in the README, but I will show you that when something gets inserted into the database, this is the code that runs. Insert this. Message is actually an object. Message is being passed in from the Twitch listener. Let's close all this. And so it's inserting this. And what's nice about the connects library is it automatically escapes input. So it sees that you're passing in an object, and then the content property is the Twitch message, and it automatically escapes that. So there's no SQL injection here. No SQL injection here. Okay. These are our client ideas, or like front end ideas. The first one I had was basically like a museum of, so you have frames on a wall, fancy frames, with the quote inside, and then you can scroll the wall like horizontally, like a museum. So like it's like a museum of happiness is quotes. The other one is clouds floating by, each one with a quote on it. And then the other one is nature background images with large text on top. And then fade between the quotes. Those are some ideas that I have. Yeah, I'm sorry about that, Alka. I don't know. Whenever I do that, does it like flood your bot? Because I recognize that your bot only responded to like 2 or 3 messages. I don't know. Hopefully your bot is okay. Happiness is having fun with CJ's database. What's up, Dr. Vim? I feel like haven't you been here before? I feel like it's been a while since I've seen you, but thanks for being here. Maybe you haven't been here before. Maybe that's somebody else. I don't know who I'm thinking of, but we need to write some code. We're going to go ahead and just do a quick hello, because yesterday we skipped the hellos. We're going to do 60 seconds of straight up hello. So if you'd like me to acknowledge you, just say hi in the chat. I'll say hi back, and then we're going to get started coding. And again, this isn't going to be another quick stream because I have another meeting today. Hello, Danger Mouse. Welcome to the show. What's up, Scotty and Eddie and Gerben and Fridley Nimrod and Designer Geek and Chromos and Katie and MS Gaffo and BJ NYC. What's up, FTD Gomez and Daniel Garden and Georgie and Absolutely Baked and Username Unknown 404 and Devim and Heap Walker and Alka. Oh, nice. There's a cooldown. That makes sense. What's up, Doomvit and John and Prawin and The 20 and Sergeant Boom and Guirdo and Murillo and Limotes and Smoocha and Gabriel and Dr. Vim. It's been a really long time. I used to hang out. Yeah, nice. Thanks for being here. What's up, Lapsy? Just started touch typing. Nice. It just takes practice. I mean, I've been typing all my life, and I still make a whole lot of mistakes. What's up, Navigator and Roger Voth and David Snyder and Inex and Zabooz and Benz and Blatt and Photon. Happiness is catching a CJ stream live on your day off. Nice. Okay, that's all the time we have for hellos. We'll just get through these last ones. What's up, Zandex and Jose and Abriox and Jay Getachu and Fun and 8-Bit Delight and Uber and Germ Schwar and Damerk and Santhos and Fuznop and Buenos Dias, Saltio. Happiness is reading all the resubs. Thanks for the reminder, Alka. Alka with the 1 year hype. Of course I got to read these. I totally forgot. Thank you all for the supports. Unfair with that 10-month resub. Saltiome with the 4-month resub. Got a late start learning JavaScript in the web stack, but thank you so much for the inspiration to push on. You are very welcome, Saltiome. Yeah, we're going to fill out the rest of the to-do. Right now it just says build the rest of the album. We'll fill that out. Devim, thank you for that 8-month resub. Daniel Garden with the 11-month resub. And Alka, who says happiness is 1 year hype. That's a whole lot of support, Alka. I thank you very much. Jordan, thank you for that raid. Julian, thank you for the 10-month resub. Hello. Lou, thank you for that 8-month resub. And Photon with that 2-month prime resub. Hey, Ari, how's it going? All right. When you can't code, but you enjoy watching people code, that's okay. That's an okay way to be. All right. So at this point, actually, we're not exactly ready to set up the client because we need a way of getting all of the happiness is messages that are on the server to the client. Because right now, the server's just listening for Twitch chat. At any one time someone says happiness is, it puts it into the database. But we're going to build a website, and we need a way for that website to get all of the messages when the page loads. So let's just create a endpoint to get all messages. Cool. So if we look in the codes, we already have an API folder. I used a generator that I've made, like a scaffold of an Express app. And right now it has this emojis endpoint, but I'm just going to change this to be messages. And so this is going to be an API endpoint to get all of the messages that are in the database. I'm going to change the URL to be messages. So when we make a request to API v1 messages, it will run this specific route. And then right here, we need to make a database query. So if you remember, yesterday, we made a database query to insert into the database. We will now create a database query to get all of the messages. Get messages. Doesn't take any params. It just queries the database. And right now, we're just going to literally get everything in the database. So I'll just say this. And so this is how you do select star from messages with connects. That's what that will do. You also could do, like, you can be more explicit. You could say select star. You could select specific columns, but it's kind of all we need. Eventually, we need to add pagination. To do pagination. And pagination means you only return a few at a time, because right now it's going to give us back everything. But now that we have that query, we can use it in the API route. So if we take a look at our messages router, we can bring the queries in here. To use the Java command line tool, you need to install the... I'm not using the Java command line tool. Stop it. Go home, Java. You're drunk. Okay. We need our queries. And this is up one more directory in the DB folder, and then in the queries folder. This is not a blog. No, this is watching Twitch chat for specific messages that contain specific text. Okay, so we're going to make this an async method. We are going to get all of the messages, and we are going to await queries.getMessages. So that gets all the messages from the database, and then we'll return those as an API response. So when we make a request here, give us all the messages in the database. That should be it. What port are we running on? We're running on port 4455. So if I go to localhost 4455/API/v1/messages, we should get back every message in the database. So happiness is not. Happiness is Robert, quote, parenthesis, semicolon, drop table students, semicolon, dash, dash. Happiness is when you are happy. So these are all happiness quotes from yesterday. Happiness is supporting different characters. What else do we got? Happiness is sponsored message. Happiness is exec at username in select cast system user as int. And it's me, Delano. Thank you for that 2-month resub. Yes, absolutely, Pure Law. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. So why am I able to await this when this is not an async function? It's because this actually returns a promise. And so because this returns a promise, like this specific function invocation gives me back a promise, and then I'm returning that from this function, that means I can await it. And basically the way the connects library works is up until you like invoke the promise. Let's take a quick stretch. yeah. Shout out to Good Mythical Morning if you haven't heard of them. Let's talk about that. That's how they start every episode. I've been watching a lot of them lately. It's probably why I said that. But just search Good Mythical Morning on YouTube. It's a fun show. It's a fun show to watch. But yeah, so this returns a promise. And the thing about connects is when you, like, it's a query builder. Like, we're basically writing JavaScript code that will get turned into a SQL query. And by default, it is just a query builder. But when you do .then on it to invoke it and wait for the promise response, or when you await it, that's when it will actually execute that SQL function against your database. And that returns a promise because that's not going to return immediately. But yeah, I mean, technically I could make this an async function, but there's really no point in making it an async function because it already returns a promise and we're not awaiting anything. If we were doing extra stuff to the thing we got back from the database, then maybe we would need async await. But yeah, that's a good call out. Okay, we've done it. We have an endpoint now. Now that we can get all the messages, let's build a client. And I think we're gonna go ahead and vote on what idea we're gonna use. And what's up, Magnetic? Big time fam. Never had time for a stream, but I found your channel when I was doing Code Wars. Nice. Yeah, we got a bunch of Code Wars videos on YouTube. Happiness is having someone to return to after a long and hard day. Absolutely. You just walk in the door, and there they are. And it's good. And also, like, coming home to a dog as well. That's also a very happy feeling. Happiness is to have a backup when your hard drive dies. Yeah. Definitely. You know, I've lived more than half my life without any database backups, and I've been mostly okay. I had to repair like a, what do you call it? Not partition table? Master boot record? One time, but I was able to repair it, didn't actually lose any data, so that's a thing. What's up, Anacodes? Yeah, we'll do Code Wars eventually. Maybe tomorrow. I don't know. We've streamed 2 days a week. Maybe we can stream every day this week. Who's to say? Good day, Dot. Well, thank you for being here. What package did I use to fetch and update to the DB? Let's talk about that. It is called Connects.js. It is a query builder. This is not an ORM. An ORM is an object relational mapper. Typically what you do is you set up models. With an ORM, you would set up like a class for messages and basically a class, an object for every database table. Connects is purely a query builder. So it's JavaScript-like code that will be turned into SQL code and executed against the database. But yeah, it's called Connects. Happiness is concentrating on what you have and not what you don't. Yeah, this is similar to what I said yesterday. That's what I think happiness is. Love what you got. Don't want. I mean, you can want for things. Everybody wants stuff, but when you love what you have, you're like living in the moment with what you have, and that is happiness, I think. I don't think any human has been as happy as a dog when the person comes home. Yeah, probably not. Kind of like a JavaScript. Yeah, you could think of it like that. It basically takes. Yeah, I mean, let's look at some interesting queries on their site. And hacks. Thank you for that resub. How long? 11 months. Thank you very much for that support. It's very possible I missed your question. There's a lot of chats. So check it. So this is the JavaScript code you would write. So select star from users, join accounts on accounts type where something is equal to admin. Or select star from users, join to the accounts table. So this is the JavaScript code, and then out below that you can see what the SQL code is that's exported. The interesting thing about Connects as well is that it supports many different databases. So Postgres, Amazon, SQL, Oracle, MySQL. So you can use the same exact code and just change your database adapter, and it will generate SQL code that will work with that database. All right, let's see what was their name? Exaulo. What does Exaulo say? Can you reverse a binary tree? Oh yeah, I skipped that on purpose. I'm not gonna. This ain't an interview. Come on. I was like, did I really skip it? No, I consciously skipped that question. Okay. Let's do a vote. So we have 3 options. We have 3 options for the possible different kinds of front ends we can build for this. Let me reiterate them. So one of them is fancy frames on a wall like a museum. So what kind of client? Fancy frames on like museum. So the idea is you go to the site and there's frames, like frames. I could probably reverse a binary tree. I don't know. Happiness is finishing a long day of React and coming home to Vue. Oh, that's my happiness. I haven't written Vue recently, but I do write a lot of React at work. Okay, we got frames on a wall. Each of those frames has a happiness is quote like this. Happiness is finishing a long day of React and coming home to Vue. And it'll quote the person that sent that message, and there will just be multiple, and then you can scroll and it'll go horizontally like you're walking through a museum. That's one idea. The other idea is clouds floating by. So you can kind of just go to it. Maybe we could put it on as a background somewhere. It could be like a screensaver. Swear blocked. Thank you for that Prime resub. Home inventory videos on YouTube are incredibly helpful. You're very welcome. I will warn you that they're not finished. So when you get to the end, there's still more that needs to be done. But there's a lot of good tidbits of information in all those videos for sure. Okay, clouds floating by, and then the last one is like inspirational quotes style. So style. I don't have enough characters to put an E there, but it will be like nature photos or interesting things like that with the text front and center, and then we'll fade between them. All right, you have 1 minute to vote. Which one should we build? Angular is like heck, and React is kingdom heaven. I mean, it's all relative. It is all relative. Happiness is the query text. I just want to ask if you can reverse a linked list. Yeah, easily. Can there be a CJ face in the clouds? Possibly. Why don't I make a Chrome or Firefox extension? Yeah, we absolutely could. So like I have this new tab extension that just says the time and it says a greeting. We technically could create a Chrome extension that shows these happiness is quotes. Yeah, a garden theme. That sounds too difficult for this morning. We only have about 30 minutes left. We're going to build this thing within 30 minutes. Come on, Mark. Happiness is being pain-free, for sure. Like, you forget about this, but like, if you ever, I don't know, you stub your toe, or even just like minor injuries, it hurts. and it's nice to not hurt. So the moment before you stubbed your toe, you're probably a whole lot more happy than when you stubbed your toe. And very obviously, there's more serious pain. Stubbing your toe is just something that I thought of because it happens. I mean, it happens to me a lot. Probably because I have way too much stuff. I need to clean my house. Rosie, thank you for that Prime sub. Yeah, thanks for being here. All right, Fancy Frames has won. Heck yeah. We're going to need to find us some fancy frames, but that's what we're going to build. So great. The next question I have for you is, what should we do it with? With what? React, Vue, or Vanilla JS. So Vanilla JS means we're not going to use any external libraries. We're just going to use what's supported in the browser. Vue is a front-end library. React is a front-end library. If you're a beginner and you want to maybe be able to sort of kind of follow along, Vanilla JS should probably be your first choice. If you're an advanced beginner, Vue is probably your first choice. And if you like to make things really complicated and you like over-engineering, you can choose React. So, vote now. Having completed a bachelor's degree in computer science, I don't know coding. What should I do? Wait, what? You have a bachelor's degree in computer science and you don't know how to code? I mean, that's kind of how I felt after I got my degree. If you like, no, I was just digging on React. React is fine, but it is. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in it. Like, there's JSX. There is hooks. There is functional styles stuff. There's a lot in React. There's a lot in React. So, yeah. But I mean, I kind of felt this way after I graduated because I have a computer science degree. And when I got my first job, I was like, yeah, I know how to write an if statement. I can write functions. I know loops. That's about all I know. And then on the job, I learned a whole lot about like object-oriented programming and how to structure large projects and stuff like that. So I would say what you should do is just get a job and you're going to learn on the job. Yeah. Cool. We're going to do it with Vue. Thoughts on unit tests and frameworks? It depends on where you are. Where are you? No, I mean, like, if you're using Vue, they have a unit testing library, like Vue test utils. If you're using React, there's a few different you can choose from. If you're just in vanilla, Mocha and Chai is nice. Yeah, okay. Happiness is the first warm weather when winter ends. Definitely. Yeah, we could build a fire. Yeah, that's what I meant, Matthew. Good morning, River. Thanks for dropping by. Happiness is clear sinuses. I agree. Yeah, no, that's the other thing. Like, I mean, so I have really bad allergies. At least I used to. They weren't so bad, but then I remember like last year they got pretty bad. But I was used to living my life where for 3 to 4 months out of the year, my nose was literally stopped up on the daily because I had such bad allergies. And that's just how I lived my life. And then when I moved to Colorado, at least when I got here a few years ago, I didn't have allergies. And it's a beautiful feeling. Like you forget that you, at least I forgot that I would spend 3 to 4 months just always sniffling and always having a stuffed up nose. River, thank you for those 500 bits. That's very kind. Much appreciated. But yeah, happiness is clear sinuses. I agree. Yeah, it depends. Firefox is better for some things and some things it's not. Things like, we've seen it before on my stream. If we're doing things like with Canvas, or even like background tasks and web workers, it seems like Chrome's a little bit faster. Who's to say? Who's to say? All right. I just had to write a web app with Vanilla.js with MVC, and I had a rough time. It's possible. But yeah, when you don't have a framework to like guide you into how to do things, it can be tricky. All right. Over engineering. Come on, man. Yeah. We're going to do Vue. Vue has been chosen. Let's write some code. All right. Happiness is running code 100% correct on the first try. I agree. I totally agree. We weren't allowed to use frameworks as a class assignment. Nice. I mean, did you see my MVC video on YouTube? Let's share that. This one. First of all, I'll warn you, this was recorded live, and there are a lot of drunk people in the audience, so they yell. And every now and then, I start the video at the volume a little bit lower than you're used to, because people do yell. They get really excited when the code works. But in this video, I implement like a teeny tiny Vanilla.js MVC Vue style framework from scratch in about 30 minutes, which was pretty fun. Okay, should we use the Vue CLI? So here's the thing. Let's just talk about Vue Js real quick. This is a front-end library. It was created by Evan Yu. It's a beautiful thing. They're currently in version 3. They've made a lot of great strides when it comes to a front-end framework. And it's a beautiful thing. And they have a CLI tool, which is like full-featured. It can scaffold the app. But we could just bring it in from a CDN. Happiness is to express yourself. I like that. Yeah. If you do exclamation mark working on, you can get a description of what we're building. But here's the GitHub repo. The API right now listens for Twitch chat messages that start with the words happiness is. Puts those in a database, and now we're about to build a client that's going to show all those happiness messages. I'm not supposed to be yelling in my living room when your code works. It's totally fine. I mean, I get excited. So, all right, we're procrastinating. I need to write some code. I guess we'll do the Vue CLI. I guess we will, because I need to just get this going. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do at Vue/CLI create. We want to create a folder or create an app. We're going to call it client, because that's going to create a folder called client. Okay, I guess I don't have it. I'm going to install it globally. I guess I could use npx. I'm not going to. Is that the right command? Am I crazy? We're going to install the Vue CLI globally, and then we're going to generate an app. I don't think it's Vue install. Is it? Nice, Linson. Congrats on starting a code camp. Yeah, starting is the hardest part. That's the hardest part. Yeah. All right, now? Oh, no. It's just Vue create. Whew. If I would have done npx, that would have worked. Okay. I'm going to manually select our features. We're not going to do TypeScript because we're in a hurry. I don't think we need a router because there's just going to be one page with a bunch of stuff on it. Do we need Vuex? No, that just the more you add, the more complicated it gets. We just want a basic Vue app. Here we go. We're gonna use Vue 3, Airbnb config, and we're not gonna save it. Cool. Happiness is getting home from work and jumping straight into a CJ stream. Welcome, Chief Mustardo. I appreciate that comment. How could I learn Docker and Kubernetes? Follow Mastermind on Twitch. Mastermindio? I think there's an A in there. Yep. He teaches a lot of stuff, including stuff like Docker. Also search YouTube. I don't really have any good tutorials on it. Happiness is working from home. I agree. What's the meaning of PWA support? So PWA is a progressive web app. We could probably read about it on the VCLI site. But a progressive web app means, well, it's an application that is progressively enhanced depending on the availability of features of the device that is loading the website. So if your website is loading in a browser that supports, I don't know, geolocation, like, because most web browsers these days can ask for your location and show it on a map. But you could write an app that says, if this is supported, let's use it and show a dot on the map. But if it's not, we won't use it. What are some other things? Like offline caching, or like offline first is a progressive web app thing, where when your site loads for the first time, you cache all of the assets, and that way, the next time it's loaded, it could possibly be loaded offline. There's a lot of different things you can do. PWA is like a blanket term. I can't find it. Search the web for PWA. You'll figure it out. I'm sure of it. Okay, let's go into the client directory. We're going to do npm run serve, and that will start up our Vue app. Yeah, we're going to use the composition API. We definitely will. So that's like the latest and greatest Vue 3. Cool. So we got ourselves a Vue app. Let's call the back end. So if you remember, we have this backend endpoint, API v1 messages here. And so our front end is going to make a request here, get all of that data, and then we'll display these in some picture frames. If you all want to help me out, you can find some picture frames. It would be good to get a frame that is transparent in the middle. I guess it doesn't necessarily have to, but it'd be nice for it to be transparent. That way we can set what the background color is of that frame. That kind of thing. Okay, so let's go to the front end. I'll give you a quick tour of the Vue app, but like I said, we don't have much time, so I kind of just need to code this thing. So here's the client. When you generate a Vue app, this is everything that you get. Most of your codes are going to go in the SRC folder, and if you look at app.vue, this is like our main component. And right now, this is where it says that hello world message. So we're just going to get rid of that. We're going to get rid of the Vue logo. And for now, we're just going to have a little title that says happiness is ... We'll get rid of the hello world component. And so now our page should just say happiness is, just like that. Great. We're also going to get rid of all the default styles because we're going to add our own. And then we're going to get rid of that hello world component because we'll probably be creating our own like happiness component. And we'll get rid of the Vue logo as well. If you look at main.js, this is kind of our entry point. So this imports that app component that I just showed you and then mounts it on an element with the ID app. And if you look in the public folder, there is an HTML file that has a div with ID app. So our entire Vue.js application lives in that specific div. I don't think I'm going to use Socket.io. I think we're going to figure out a way to get this working without Socket.io. Just because I don't want to have to support hundreds of socket connections to this website. That's very resource intensive on whatever server we deploy to. Okay, we might though. I don't know. Let's call the API. We're just going to do it right here inside this component. You could separate it out, but it's so simple we don't really have to. I'm going to create a variable for the API URL, and that is this. So right now it's localhost. Pretty soon we're going to be on the interwebs, and this will be some domain on the internet. But for now, this is fine. And then we need to just make a request for the data. So with Vue 3, you can have this setup function. This is kind of like your created lifecycle method. So when the component is created, this function will run, and we're just gonna call the API, like straight up. Let's create a function inside this function called get messages, because that way we could recall this later if we want to refresh it. But we're just going to use fetch, which is built into all modern web browsers. So make a request to that URL, get back the response. The messages are just this thing parsed as JSON. So parse it as JSON, and then we should have our messages. So when the component is created, call get messages. So now we should see in the console all the messages. Look at that. There's 195. Wow. So there's 195 messages in the database. And yeah. So right now they're ordered by date. So those are some that were inserted. Wow. Wow. Okay. These are the ones that were inserted most recently. Let's see. Savage Banana Soup says, happiness is freedom from oppression. Absolutely. You may forget I mean, at least I live in a country, for the most part, where there's not a lot of oppression. I'm laughing because there actually has been a whole lot of oppression recently, but for the most part, everyone had the illusion that we were living in a place where we were not very oppressed, and we could, we live in a free country, people would say. And so that's a good feeling. Happiness is working from home. Yeah, America. Is form encoded better than application JSON? They're different encodings. You could probably look up like which one has a different size in general, but application JSON is easier to read, right? So like the fact that, I mean, that's typically used when you're sending data to the server, right? And the client would need to format the data into that format, which is okay, but it's really easy to write JavaScript code that sends like a JSON payload. So that's why I prefer JSON. Happiness is undefined. Happiness is all your unit tests passing on the first go, for sure. Okay, so we have a front end. That front end is getting all of these happiness messages. So that's great. Just to show you what, like that it is working, we can put it on the page. So I'm going to grab this thing called reactive from Vue. And what this allows us to do is to create some reactive state that we can use inside of our template. So let's create a variable called state that is reactive and that has a property called messages that starts off as an empty array. So when our component loads, messages is totally empty. And then when we get the messages from the API, we want to set them here. So I'll say state.messages equals messages. And so that's going to overwrite it here. And then this setup function is going to return an object that has that state on it. So that way we can use the state inside of the template. And so now that we have the state in the template, we can show all the messages. So I'll say for every message in state.messages, they'll have a key of message.id. Why is this complaining? Oh, is it complaining about a root template? We're in Vue 3. We technically don't need one. And then we'll have like an h3 that has the message.content. And then we'll have like a little small that just has the message.displayName. Like that. All right. Let's look at them all. Happiness is not. Happiness is Robert Drop Table Students. Happiness is Pokemon. Happiness is enough sleep. Happiness is when your kid smiles. Happiness is UTC date times. Happiness is not dropping the database for sure. Happiness is the sandwich that I'm eating. Happiness is pizza on the evenings. Let's go to the bottom. Let's see what we got. Happiness is landing on the garden. Nice. Yeah. For those of you that are new here, you can play the drop game. So in the chat, if you type !drop me, that will drop your avatar from the sky like that. And if it lands in the garden, you might get happy. Like, that's definitely going to land in the garden. The closer you are to the center, the larger your seedling will be. Look at that. Your boy Hitbox with that beautiful drop. Happiness is first try. Yeah. I've not used Fastify. I've just used Express for the longest time. And hello, One Computer Guy. QQ, is it better to serve HTML pages using Express through res.send file or through vanilla HTML links? If you must, then Express actually does have a static file serve middleware. So like if you have static HTML files, you can just put them in a specific folder, and then you can point Express at that folder, and it will serve up those files if they exist, if like a specific one is requested. I'll show you a quick example. So like in our API, we have no static serving. There's no HTML, but if you look here where we're setting up our middlewares, technically you could do like app.use express.static and say the root of the static folder is a folder called public. And so if inside the public folder I have a file called mysuperawesomepage.html, if a request comes into the server for mysuperawesomepage.html, that will send it back automatically. So that's one option. What you're mentioning is another option where if for some reason you need a custom response, then you can send a file directly from any of your request handlers. But I guess the reason I'm hesitating is because if you're doing that, you might as well be using some sort of rendering library like Pug or EJS or Handlebars. I don't know. In my experience, I don't do any, well, not my, in most of the apps I build, I don't do any sort of HTML or static serving from the backend. All of the static files live on a CDN, and that's completely separate from my backend, which could be hosted serverlessly, could be hosted on an AWS server or something like that. Yeah. Okay. What is Morgan? Morgan is a logging library. So in the console, for my Node app, anytime a request comes in, you can see it logged here. So it says, what was the request type? What's the URL? What was the status code? How long did it take? Morgan is the middleware that's doing that. Yeah. Yeah. And it may not be, depending on your application, it may not be possible, One Computer Guy. Like, you may need to serve up specific HTML in your responses. But I like to keep it totally separate, where static files live on a static server, and then we just have our JSON API, which is separate. There are other ways to do it, because you could use something like Nuxt.js or Next.js, which is like server-side rendering with React or with Vue. Okay, happiness is first try. All right, so we've got this. Let's get some picture frames. Did anybody share any picture frames? I guess not. Let's just search DuckDuckGo for a picture frame. Let's search for a fancy picture frame. We need like this. This is exactly what we need, but we need like 10 or so of them. And I learned this the other day. Quick tip, if you're using DuckDuckGo and you're searching for images, you can click on all types and choose transparent. That was new to me because on Google Images, typically you have to click on colors. So here you click on types and then do transparent. Okay, these frames are great. Fave PNG. No, we want it to be fancy. Fancy. Okay, I'll pick the frames. I will get the frames. Don't worry about it. Let me do it. I probably should go. Yeah, so like this PNG all is probably a website that says, yeah, so Creative Commons 4.0. Because we need to say where we got these images. These are great. Here we go. This is the one we want. This is under Creative Commons 4.0. And what that says is, I think it's attribution non-commercial. So you can use this image in anything non-commercial as long as you attribute where the image came from. So that's what we're going to do. So let me just download one of these right quick. and we'll get going. Download. I mean, there's not going to be much room for the text, but that's okay. Let me just save this. Yeah. I'm going to create a folder called frames. And we're going to put a bunch of frames in there. And I'm actually just going to number them like 01, 02, and then we'll pick a random one for any of the given quotes. And then how we need to attribute it. I guess I'll just link to the download page. Okay, let's find another one. That's a good one. This one is the same, has the same attribution clause. We'll call it 02. I realize you can't see my screen. Actually, you can see my screen now. I was just making sure that wherever I saved them was a good place. Okay, so we have that one. We're going to link to it here. What about this one? That's pretty good. Let's save it. We're going to call this one 03. We're going to get like 5 of them, and then eventually we can add more. We'll credit. No. Go back. It is pretty. These are some really nice frames. So there's that one. What else? No, the code editor is as large for me as it is for you. I mainly do that so that you can read the code, because if it's too small, then it can be very hard for you to read. Yeah. Yeah, I've decided like the past few streams that I'd be in just chatting, just because so many people on Twitch do not know about the science and tech category. So if you found me today in the just chatting category, can you smile in the chat? Can I get some I mean, we got 27 follows. That's at least 27 people that found me today. They may or may not have found me in just chatting. What's up, Bonzo? Okay. Do we already have this one? This one's really fancy. Miss Bug, thanks for being here. Yeah, Earl George, Cookies and Cream. Adam, welcome. Coding Garden fan, hello. Found me through my team. Oh, the Live Coders team? Nice, yeah. Okay, well, this will be number 4. What if I didn't find you in just chatting, but I really want to smile? There's only so much I can do in terms of discoverability. What's up, Wucha? Welcome. Through CM Griffin. Nice. Okay. We need one more frame. I guess, can we just search for gold frame? They're all gold. I guess gold is fine. Can't sub with Prime? Are you disabling all the buttons on the site? What are you talking about? This site is interesting. PNG all. It just has... Yeah, these are all the gold frames. All right, let's pick... Our last one will be... Do we already have this one? I don't think we do. Number 5. Okay, so... I gotta credit it. All right, there's our credits. And now we have in the front end, we have an assets directory. And in that assets directory, there's a frames directory. And in that frames directory, we have 5 different images. We've got that one. Wow, look at that. We've got that one. Very good. That one. That one. And that one. Are any of them the same? Did I pick the same one twice? 3 and 4 are surprisingly similar but different, and 5 is not the same as 2. Okay, they're different. Good morning, Electrothermal. Okay. All right, we've got frames. Now we need a random one, and let's just create a little object that has all of our frames in it. So when you scaffold an app with Vue, it's using Webpack, and typically with Webpack, everything's a module. So we can actually import these images, but that's going to give us a bundle URL. So that way, whenever our app is built, the URL we're using is the right URL. So here we go. So if anybody asks what we're doing or any other questions that anybody knows the answer to, can you please help them out? Because we only have like 7 minutes left. I need to code this. So we're going to import image 01 from, we're going to go into, actually we don't go up in it. Yeah, we'll go into the assets directory and then frames and then 01. So we do the same thing for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 5, 5. Okay, so this is 2, and this is 3, this is 4, and this is 5. Okay, so we have all the images. Now, for any given happiness message, we want to put it in an image, or in a frame, basically. So we could have just a variable called frames, and then we could throw all of the images in it. Something like this, like, and Aditya, thank you for that resub. Keep up the good content. Oh, thank you. So we could do this. I think maybe this is what we'll do. Maybe we'll just instead of picking a random one, we'll just cycle through the frames. So we show 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. What is this streamer's most used language? Me or someone else? I use JavaScript mostly. Okay, so we're gonna make these frames available in the template, and then for every message, we want to put it in a frame. We'll get rid of the happiness is message. We'll put this all in a container div. And every time I zoom out, the Java thing pops up. I don't know why. Okay, but we want to put this inside of an image. I think what I'll do is we'll have the image here. And I'm just going to set the source to be frames at 0. So we're just going to grab the first one for now. And if we look at the page, look at that. So we see the first frame for every single one. That's awesome. But then I'm going to position the text on top of the image. So I'm going to throw a div inside of here that has the content. And we'll just give this a class of quote. And then we'll give the message a class of message. So we'll make message display relative, quote will be display absolute, so it's at the top left corner. So here we have message, display, position, relative, and then inside of that we have the quote, and that will have a position of absolute with a top of 0 and a left of 0. So that is going to position the text exactly on top of the image. Now, for any given image, the padding, I think, is going to be a little bit different. Yeah, so the different frames. So what I think I'm going to do is for every frame, it will have a set padding that should be used. And I think we also should set the width of the image. So the image inside of the message should have a width of 40 view width, height of auto. Yeah, that's pretty good. And then I think what I'll do is here where I have all of the frames, each frame we can specify what the padding should be. So I'll say like the source is that. So let me do this. Okay, so source is this. And padding is 2 view width, something like that. So each image we can specify some custom padding, so that way it puts the text inside. Well, I'm not going to transform this one because there are other ones that are horizontal. Okay, and then we'll do frames at 0.src. And then we can bind the style here. CM Griffin, what's up, dude? Thanks for that 10-month resub. About to hop into a work meeting, but wanted to shout this out. Thanks. And And I appreciate you. And everyone should check out CM Griffin as well. Super chill stream. Lots of JavaScript and other things as well. Okay, where are we? Yeah, no worries. Thank you for the resub, for the supports. Our image is broken. So frames at 0.src. That should technically work. Why is it broken? Oh, there we go. But then we can set. Well, actually, we want to set the padding of the quote. So I can do a dynamic style binding here and say that the padding and xkeyju. Thank you for that resub, or for that sub, Prime sub. Very much appreciated. Okay, so this ID is VS Code. If you do !VSCODE in the chat, you'll get information about it. So the padding here is just frames dot padding. So yeah, that's 2 VW of padding for frame 1. Frame 1 needs even more. Let's go with like 4. Oh, I did the wrong one. This one. What happens if we make it like 4? It's not enough. What if we go 10? It's not enough. What if we go 12? It's pretty good. And Ashley B, thank you for that resub. 3 months. Very nice. That's a whole lot of padding. I think what we'll also do is we'll just set this quote to be a flexbox so that it puts it right in the center. Justify content center. Align items center. So it's in the center. But then it doesn't adhere to the padding. Well. Oh, no. We need to do flex direction column. Yeah. There we go. Beautiful. But the height here we need to set to be 100%. I think it should be 100%. No, okay. Where is this quote? The quote is here. I want it to be 100% of the message, but it's not. I guess not. I don't know. Oh no, you know what? My meeting's not till 9:30. We still have 30 minutes. I totally forgot. We have more time to write code. Yeah, I'm actually, that's a good idea, Pablo. Let's see how much area is this quote element actually taking up. Let's just do background red. Okay. So, because we've specified the width of the image and not the height, then we can't do vertical centering. So I think what we'll do is we'll set the height to something like 40 view height, and then the width to be auto. So that way we can have, yeah, something like this, which will give it vertical centering inside, like that. But now we need to reduce the padding and potentially increase the height. So if we do like 60, great. And then I think the padding should be based on VH instead of VW now, because, yeah, so 9. What happens if we do 9? Not enough. Go back to 12. 14. Hello, Axis. Could I use margin and put it as being transparent? Possibly. Very possibly. Why is it not centered anymore, though? What did I change? Background red. Height. 60 view height. Flex direction column. I'm just curious why. Yeah, I mean, I thought, so when I set the quote height to 100%, before, it took up 100% of the page instead of 100% of the parent. Yeah, like, maybe? All right, so there's the message, there's the image, there's the quote. What if we do margin instead of padding? No. I do have a line item center. Here's the thing though. I thought we fixed it. I thought changing this to view height fixed it. Let's get rid of. Let's set the padding just to 0 for now. Okay. Object fit, box sizing, border box. CSS is hard. Here's the main thing. I want. You know what? Oh no! I got it. The message needs to have a height of 60, and then the image needs to have a height of 100%. And then that way, the flexbox can have a height of 100%. Yeah. So the message is the parent. This is the winner. This is the one. This is the one. Yeah. So now it's the full height. We could also do width 100%. That was the issue. The height, we were specifying the height on the image and not on the parent of them. Okay. But now the width is off because I guess if we did text align center, I don't know. Okay, but if we go back to 12 VH of padding, what does that give us? It's too much. I mean, technically, horizontal padding and not vertical padding? Yeah, I think that's maybe it. Aslata, thank you for that prime sub, but I think we'd have to specify that different for each image. So let's do horizontal padding of 3 VW. And then we'll use horizontal padding as the... Actually, let's just do it as padding left. Actually, here's what we'll do. We'll have our own little style object, and that style object can just do whatever the heck it wants for this specific image. So we'll do like margin left, or a padding left of 3 VH. And then we can specify the style here. Yeah, the thing is, I want it to be somewhat responsive, which is why I'm not doing exact pixel coordinates. Okay, so that's passing the style in. And actually, I guess if we did margin left... Sort of, kinda. I think that's okay. I think the main issue is, though, we need these two containers to be the same. So actually, what we probably should do is this should be a background image. This image source right here. This should be a background image, and that way it's just always the right size. Right? Right, everybody? Does that make sense? I guess that could work too. The main idea is initially we needed padding because we need the text to be inside of the frame. Simo, with the Stack Overflow, and thank you Sim Salva for that prime sub. Very much appreciated. Is it a resub or is it a new sub? New sub. Thanks for being here. Okay. Yeah, people are. There are probably a lot of redemptions, channel points redemptions that I need to give you your money back. Yeah, and Timov had the suggestion as well to do as a background image. I think we're just going to do that. I think we're just going to do a background image. Let's see where that gets us. So I'm going to do background image, something like this. And this is a URL with that inside of it. How does background image work? Nice. Nice. So that's great. But then for the quote, it doesn't have to be position absolute anymore. And River with more bits. Thank you for the bits, River. Very much appreciated. Okay. Yeah, we'll get rid of this. And then the quote. Yeah. So, yeah. It's beautiful. But now we can set the background. There's like background fit. Isn't that a thing? Background size? Background position? We can do something like, yeah, background size contain. And that will put the background image in there. Yeah. And then we could do like background repeat. None? Off? What's our option? No repeat. So don't repeat it. And then how do we put the background image in the center? Background center? Center, no repeat? No. Background position. Background position, center. Would you look at that? Look at that. Okay, so we're on our way. Let's get rid of that ugly red background. Okay, so the first one's pretty good. This is pretty good. Also, we want the container to be, we want this to be horizontal because we want to be able to scroll it like we're like looking at a wall at a museum. So let's fix that. So the parent container here, let's call this messages. And then messages has a display of flex. It's going to be flex row by default. So everything, yeah, it's just all going to be horizontal. And now we want to give these a specific height and a specific width as well. I think. Why are they so tiny? Don't do that. Somebody's telling me don't do that. So the message has a height of 60 view height and a width of 60 view. We're getting there. We're gonna change the font. It's gonna be great. I actually don't want it to wrap. Oh, the parent element needs width. But I want it to be infinitely. I want the parent width to expand based on the number of elements inside of it. Flex overflow? Is that a thing? Overflow. Scroll. I mean, this is what I want. And then technically, like, the width is one. Oh, I see. Yeah. So if we set the container width to 100 view width, now this is all going to be scroll. So that's fine. But why the heck can't I set the width of the element? Like message. Display inline block, white space, no wrap. We'll get there. I just want a bigger image. So the message class, like I don't understand, like the message class, I have a width set as 80 vmin, and it is showing up as 136 pixels. So when an item is like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Minimum width? Oh, yeah, let's do that. Let's try that. Would that do it? I see. Okay, min width and min height. Hey. This is what I like to see. Okay, and then now we should be able to scroll. I don't know. What? Oh, I have to use shift scroll. Yeah, okay. Yeah, now we can get into text wrap and like padding. So this is gonna be like walking at a museum, like looking at all the happiness quotes. Great. Great. I think the other thing we can do is we can just iterate, or like, for now, let's just see what happens if we don't specify any styles. We just have a bunch of frame images. Okay, so we have the background image. That's great. But instead of frames at 0, I want to do grab the index of the message, and we'll do frames at frames.length I mod frames.length. So that should rotate through them. Yeah. So now we have this one. Happiness is Robert, drop table students. And this one, yeah, and then like with this one, we'll add like a little bit of padding so it pushes the text in a little bit. Happiness is happiness. Happiness is not filtering bad words. Happiness is coding. Happiness is my message in the database. Happiness is waking up. Great. The other thing we should do is the parent container. This buddy here should have a height of 100 view height. And then we'll make it have a line items center. Is that going to do vertical centering? No. Justify content center. Yes, there we go. So now it's nice and vertically centered. We can scroll through. Content. I need to adjust the body style though. So like body should have no margin. Because right now, yeah, we had those extra scroll bars. And then we actually just want overflow Y to be, or overflow X should scroll. Yeah, so now we can only scroll horizontally. That's good. Just goes forever. Happiness is finishing the CSS. So that's cool. I think we want to add a little bit of left and right margin to each message. So it's like, is my alarm going off? No, it's not. How does margin work? So is it top left? No, is it left and right? So if I want like 10 VW of left and right, and then 0 top and bottom, that's wrong. It's the opposite. So this is top, and this is left and right. I don't know why I just forgot that. Yeah, there we go. Northeast, southwest. But if I'm just doing 2, I always forget which one's which. Great. Let's actually just do margin left. Wait, why is this cut off? Are we missing some? This isn't good if we're missing some. What if we do no margin? What if we don't do this? Yeah, we're missing some. I could just use gap. You're right. Let's use gap. Gap. But I only want, I don't want gap on top. I guess that should work though. And if I do 5 VW, it'll stack. Is it flex gap? No. I feel like we've used gap before and it worked. Happiness is getting your first DJ controller. Congrats, Andrew. You're gonna be a DJ? That's pretty dope. Happiness is making others happy. I agree with that. Okay. I think this is, I mean, like, this is decent. Let's add some really nice fonts. So we're gonna go to yeah, we'll just go to Google Fonts and we'll search for some nice like handwriting and display fonts. And we'll choose a couple of these and then we can rotate through them. This is a good one. Actually, can I just immediately add it? We'll just select it. All right, we got that one. What else? That's a pretty good one. Let's add that one. Poppins? I'll look for it. That's a good one. Let's add it. What else? Roboto. We want them to be classy because they're in like nice, classy picture frames. Yeah, the font will be random too. Exactly. This one. All right. What else? That's a good. I like these like typewriter-esque fonts. And thank you, Lexi Ray, for that sub. I don't know why we didn't see the notification. I keep saying that. We need to fix the. I need to fix the notifications. But thank you for that 3-month resub. Very much appreciated. Okay. Somebody mentioned Poppins. Wingdings? Pop it. Is it not a Google font? Is it not a display or a serif font? Poppins. Well, why not? Why the heck not? Let's get extra light. It's sans serif. Okay. This one's weird. I like it. And Adam, thank you for that sub. Much appreciated. Lex End? I guess apparently is not a display font. Oh no, I don't. I want fancy things. I want you to feel like you're in a fancy museum reading these quotes. We're just gonna scroll way down, see what we see. Grab a few more. Oh, look at that one. That's fancy. We'll grab the bold. All right. We need like 2 more. Search for fancy. I like this one. Wellfleet. EB Garamond? Okay, I'll grab that one. And then one other. Barcode. We can use barcode. We'll go with this one. Nice and handwritten. And then let us search for Garamond. Nice. Cormorant Garamond? No, we'll go with this one. 400. Wait. I kind of like this one too. All right. Now, we've got a whole bunch of different fonts. We're going to choose from random ones. So if you've never used Google Fonts before, it gives you this. You can just paste this into your HTML to import all of these fonts. So we're going to grab that. That's all. I think it's fine. It's fine if it's all caps. We'll grab that. And then we're going to put it in our index.html. So we can just put that in the head here. Hello, Freak Zombie. Welcome to the show. It's a lot of fonts. Yeah, the page is going to take a second to load, but we load all of those fonts, and then we need to choose them randomly. So these are all our possible options. So let's write the code to do that. Let's create an array of fonts. Like so. Now, this is not how JavaScript works, but we'll fix it. Almost? I think we almost got there. There's just a few extra characters like this. Or like this. Okay, so we have an array of all possible fonts, and we'll just choose a random one for everything that shows up. Cursive font for name. Oh, yeah, I think we'll choose a standard font to use as like the author quote. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, in the future, we could make it so that people can choose the font and choose the frame. Yeah, that could be good. But right now, we're going to make it random. Alphabetically sorted? Hey, look at that. What do we do? Okay, we make the fonts available, and then we get a... Actually, we'll just make a little function here. Random font. And then this just returns fonts at math.floor of math.random times fonts.length. Cool, so that's going to give us a random font. And then we'll make the random font function available in the template. And then we can apply it to the style. So for this quote, actually for the H3, I guess, we'll get a style binding that sets the font family to be random font. Let's see. Nice. Yeah, we can increase the font size a little bit too. Happiness is supporting different characters. Happiness is happiness. This is coming along for sure. Okay, so the quote, we need to increase that font size. Font size, like 3 VMin maybe? Yeah, we need to add like a padding and a word wrap. Yeah, I'm doing shift scroll. They're only repeated because people sent the same message more than once. Happiness is rating with CJ. Happiness is response code 404. Happiness is a notification from the Coding Garden stream. These are from earlier. Happiness is to look for a bug for several days and finally fix it from Xantex. Meeting remind. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Procrastinator Mastermind. I got about 6 minutes till my meeting. Happiness is purpose. Happiness is feeling awesome. All right, let's pick a font to use for the person's the username. We should probably just pick a font that we've already chosen. We'll use Garamond. We'll default to that Garamond font. Where is it? EB Garamond is what the author's name will be. Author. Font family is that. And serif. Should I add the dashes? We're gonna get rid of the dashes. The quotes are coming from the Twitch chat. So actually, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna clear. Oh, thank you, Assad. I appreciate the mention. Actually, am I gonna clear the database? No. Should I clear the database? Type 1 in the chat if I should clear the database. I'm gonna clear the database. 2, 1. I'm gonna clear the database. You all can send. Yeah, I think that's what we'll do for the last part here, so we can see everyone's quotes. Okay. Connects. I think I need to do migrate rollback. Yeah, we're gonna clear the database. So if you were watching yesterday, our backend, we created some migrations. And one of those migrations was to create the messages table. But what we can do is if we roll back that migration, if we drop the messages table, they're gone. They're completely gone. And then we can run the migration again, and then we have a brand new blank table. Technically, we also could run some SQL code to drop all the rows, delete all the rows, but right, we're in early development, so this is good enough. So now if I do migrate latest, that's going to create the messages table. And now if I refresh the page, there should be nothing. And now if you, the viewer, sends a message like that, happiness is getting your first DJ controller, it'll show up. I totally forgot. We need to add some padding, but happiness is getting your first DJ controller. Happiness is cat cuddles. Nice. Happiness is strong typing. I don't know about that. Happiness is letting go. Happiness is landing a first job as a dev. Nice. Happiness is happiness. Happiness is family. Happiness is seeing my message on the screen. Yeah. Happiness is add padding. We need to add some padding. Let's add I think if we add just a little bit of left and right padding, it'll just work, right? So if we look at the quotes should have padding left of like 2 vmin and a padding right. Not quite. A little bit more. Let's go like 4. That's not working. Yeah, you're right now. It's the most recent. I think we could add some randomization, so it just shows random ones. Okay, we've got the quote. Oh, we need a whole lot more padding. So the purple is the padding. We need like a ton more. Yeah, like so this is where I would specify custom padding for each individual frame. Like that. So for frame number 0, that's the style that we want. And I think I'd have to go in and adjust this for every frame. But we could do that because the frames are so different. So like for frame 1, I would say this is the kind of padding that it needs. Like this, like this. And then for the other ones, we can specify some custom styles if they need it. And then, so that grabs the background. And then we'll just do some default style. And then I have to go. I have to go to a meeting. But this is pretty good. We made some progress. We haven't deployed it yet, but I think tomorrow we'll at least try to get this on the interwebs. Good evening, Win32 Day. It's been a while. Yeah, I gotta go to my meeting. Okay. But we do want to just go ahead and pass in the oh dang. No, we need the same frame. Oh no, this will never mind. This will be the same frame. Put the rest of the styles in there. All right. Cool. So at least for frame 1, the padding is really good. Happiness is cat cuddles. Happiness is, actually let's go all the way to the right. And we'll go backwards in time. So we'll look at the more recent ones. Happiness is skip the meeting. Happiness is getting your Java code to run on the first try. Happiness is when CJ is turning the stream on. Happiness is good coffee in the morning for sure. Happiness is making vertical frames horizontal. Well, happiness is when my wife is happy, says Chow. Happiness is sitting by a sunny window. Happiness is being stress-free. Happiness is being framed. You've been framed. Happiness is being healthy. Happiness is JavaScript. I agree. Happiness is dogs. I also agree with that. We're going to end with that one. This was great. I thank you all for these submissions. Hopefully I'll be able to stream tomorrow. I have an earlier meeting tomorrow, so it's trickier. I have less time to code, but it would be good to put this on the interwebs. It would be good to add some background behind this. So, and like maybe some different background colors for each of the frames. We could put like a, I don't know, like some sort of wallpaper or something like that behind it. Can this meeting be an email? It's a stand-up. It's a daily meeting. All right. You all are great. I appreciate you. Thank you for all the supports today. If you subbed, if you gave bits, if you followed, you'll see your name in the credits. So thank you for that. We're going to raid. I don't know where we're going to go, but wherever we do go, show them lots of love. Throw them a follow if you like what they're doing. I appreciate you all. Thanks for hanging out. And hopefully I'll see you tomorrow morning. If not tomorrow morning, maybe the morning after that. And if not, then definitely. Oh, actually, no. Well, probably not tomorrow morning. I forgot my friends are coming into town. Friday morning. I'll see you back here Friday morning, bright and early. We're going to get this. Yeah, Friday stream. We're going to get this done. All right. Wherever you are in the world, have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night. And until next time, here is this.